Ladies and gentlemen, sitting in front of you.
You weren't recording?
Yeah, I'm recording right now, man.
You weren't recording before?
No, I'm recording right now, man.
You missed all the gold.
You missed all that, though.
I know that. I was trying to get you guys to stop. Welcome to What's in My Head podcast. Today we're joined by Ed, and fucking Eddy, man. Your goddamn childhood right here. Don't worry, we're gonna bring up this dick story right off the bat. They were telling a fantastic dick story. And what better way to get everybody in the Ed, and Eddy moment than talking about the huge dong that Single D has. So please, bring the story back up, Matt. Let's talk about dongs right now.
Greetings to my brothers. Hi, boys. We were remembering a certain picture that had been prescribed to us as a Christmas present. And I have my,
Oh, fuck.
It just went.
Tony's having the flashbacks and traumatic experiences.
Yeah, Ed's big cock on me. Yeah, that's exactly what's going
It was
on.
a bit traumatizing because even I was like, "Hi, buddy," and I was like, "Whoa, where's that?" So
So
Yeah, hey Tony, do you remember who drew? Was it like Scott or was it Jim Miller who drew it? I don't know. One of the.
I don't remember yesterday, man.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. but when we would sometimes be invited to go to AKA and just chill and hang out with some of the storyboard artists and stuff just to see how everybody was doing. Danny liked us to kind of intermingle so the artists and the voice people got together one time, sometimes. But there was this nice posted picture of the Eds with bottomless, like no pants on, and it was like, yeah, and Single D. Ed had the massive schlong that like went on Eddy's shoulder, and you kind of look at it and you're fascinated but also repulsed at the same time. And then I think I had huge cojones and a really small pecker, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Eddy had two, maybe. Who knows, right?
Maybe.
Double prong, the double prong dong. I don't know.
If anything comes out of this, hopefully one of the artists, and I've had quite a few of them on, from Joel to Big Jim to Scott.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I got Toomey coming on later, and he's going to reach out to a couple more people. And that pretty much wraps up almost everybody, with the exception of a few voice actors here and there. Aaron Fitzgerald's coming on later in May. And I think that's
Aaron.
Yeah, man. Like I said, before it went into a huge just dick talk, like I said, right in front of you, you got Tony as Eddy, you got Sam as Double D, and you got Matt as fucking Ed, man. Like I said, it was wild, because it's one of these things I always ask people, are you fucking with me, whenever they tell me something, because 90% of the time you have to take people at, I don't want to say face value, but people just talk, and then very rarely do results happen. So when I had Matt on, I was trying so hard to get Sam on, and then somebody messaged Tony over here. And then I messaged Tony, but I didn't want to seem like that jealous girlfriend. Like, I'm just going to message him, right? And I was like, nah, I'm going to fucking delete it. I was like,
I totally deleted it, man.
And then Tony messaged me back, and he's like, hey, what were these messages deleted? I'm like, oh, fuck, I knew this was going to happen. I should have just left them. But I was super stoned by the time I deleted those messages. So I was like, fuck it, man. I was like, this is what's going to happen. I've got Matt coming on. I've got Sam coming on. I would love to get you on. If somebody messaged him with the same message through Facebook, and this is kind of how this happened. I was not expecting Tony to show up, because
I would never do it unless Matt and Sam were going to be there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Never.
So Matt, this is 100%. Like, Sam had to say yes. So, but Matt, you had to reach out, and I can't thank all three of you enough for not only the show but spending some time with me today. Because, like I said, it's not going to break the fucking internet, but this is huge. Like you said earlier, nobody's ever had all three of them on at one time, especially post the show. I mean, you guys might have done little press junkets here and there when the show was going on. Even then, though?
Even then, because
that's what I'm talking about, man.
Like,
like I said, the only reason I'm here is because both of them are there.
Yeah, and when we recorded, we really disliked each other openly a lot. So like, we all had like our own trailer cars because we're voice actors, so we didn't have big honey wagons. So like between each take, it'd be like, "Fuck you, buddy," right? And
Suck it, Ed.
yeah.
Hey, I can still do the voice. Who would have thought?
You do. It's great, man. I'm so glad you got cast as Eddie. It's like it's
Yeah. Yeah.
When was it like when all three of you guys were together? Not like this, but physically together. Was it the show?
I think it was on Vancouver Island.
Well, that was one of the last times that we got together. It's before the show was gonna end. I think we had just done the big picture show or whatever. And I said, dude, we never did a little road trip together.
That's
And
right.
I had a place on Vancouver Island, and we all took this trip together up there. And it was like the Eds fighting and arguing the whole. It was fun though. It was like we're sitting, Tony's outside smoking a cigarette. And he goes, "What the fuck? You said this is a river, man. This is like a fucking stream, man." And he's flicking cigars on him, or cigarettes into that. But please be careful of the environment. Like, that kind of shit. He's like, "Oh, whatever. Where's the beer?" And it was.
And then I was like, "Bring out tequila."
Oh shit.
Oh my.
Yeah, there was a bar down the road. We went to the bar. Hung out there and then came back, and then it was a bit of a shit show, but it was fun.
Very big shit
I don't
show.
remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we had that one last hurrah together before we all went our different.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Tony went to Alberta. Woo!
I mean, when you guys sit here and think about obviously you guys get approached for different things. Obviously Matt for one thing, Tony for another thing, and Sam being one thing. One thing you guys all have in common. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be an entertaining thing or it's going to be a clusterfuck, but it's a little bit of both right now. And I really, really enjoy it, man, because when you've got more than just one or two people, it's very, very hard to get somebody's cadence. And then there's this one host that just doesn't shut the fuck up, but you got everybody trying to play their integral part, right? So I want to know, we had that story with Matt, but Tony and Sam, whoever wants to go first, I don't know if you want to play rock, paper, scissors first to see who goes, or, I guess Sam's going to go first, but we heard how Matt got into AKA and voicing Ed, but how, Sam, did you get into Double D? And same question, Tony, how'd you get into Eddie?
Well, it was just like getting an audition as an actor for a character, and I immediately gravitated toward. I don't even think I even looked at Eddy or Single D Ed. I said, no, that's not my wheelhouse.
Well, they had
this little weirdo with the hat and the. I was like, no, this is the guy I got to try and to do. So I just came up with they said he mumbled a lot, and I was like, okay, because if you go back to watch the series, the first 3-4 episodes, I think the voices evolve a little bit, but Double D was especially more mumbly, and then he became more like loquacious and blah blah blah. But so I tried to find a kind of a raspy, mumbly voice, and I had my first audition, and then they had callbacks, and there was 2 groups, and I remember going in with these guys. I think there was 2 different Eds I went in with, or what? Maybe there was 2 groups of 3 people.
Yeah.
And when I went in with these guys, I don't know. I mean, it's such a fucking long time ago, but I remember actually being in the room with these guys when we actually did the chemistry audition.
Yeah.
And I just remember going, this felt pretty good. This felt pretty good. It was pretty funny.
Well, we all remember
3 distinct voices. Like, you couldn't find 3 more distinct kind of like voices and personalities. It was
definitely couldn't find them, eh?
Wow. Maybe they could, man, but it was awesome.
So what about you, Tony, man? Obviously it's going to be just getting a call and you're going for an audition, man, but
honestly, dude, I was super baked all the time. And Danny Antonucci basically did it for me. Yeah. The guy knew me, I guess, and he knew how to get it out of me. I went in there and started doing shit, and Danny's like, no. He kept, coaching, and then next thing you know, blah, blah. Like, it's all Danny, really. Especially for my part, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, I know
Danny got a little crank going until he got what he wanted, and then right?
Like,
Danny's the genius behind it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of just made the noises, right? He's the one that got it out of me.
And then you guys would have smoke breaks together.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Get the rasp going.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I remember too distinctly that like the 3 of us especially were confirmed that we'd gotten the parts when obviously no one else showed up when we got that first session. But then when we kept getting called back, and then remember the agonizing, like I'd watch Danny, it'd be like he'd be pulling his hair out and like smoking in the studio if he could, because he was so frustrated because he's trying to get us to like get what he was trying to get us to get. And when we'd finally get it, he'd be like, all right, if that's the best you got, all right, move forward.
When you get, but when you get the nod, you know it's
That's
good.
what I mean, right? It's like, so we knew that was like, all right, we can move on now. So
man,
we'd move on, right? It's like
Danny knew what he needed, and we just had to try to give it to him, man.
Absolutely, yeah. And banging his head against the wall, going, "When are they gonna get it?"
Yeah.
Me.
Tony, did you have anybody else that you tried out for? Or was it always just Eddy?
Just Eddy, man.
It's Eddy. Well, because
I think Danny knew ahead of time for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Well, isn't the rumor true though that you are part of his DNA at some part?
I don't know. Maybe he could have been my dad. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah. That's what I always went with.
So we've kind of gotten the bricks out of the way as far as the foundation for how you got to who you got to be and who you got to playing and stuff. So I figure we'll do this one a little bit differently. I mean, other than the couple things, like Sam, you said you were working on Ninjago. Is there anything else? Because we're just going to roll right into the fan questions because I know Tony doesn't have too much long, but I do want him to hear a couple of these.
Oh, I got time, man. You give her. You do what you do. I'm here to the end with these guys. This is probably the one and only time this is going to happen. So you give her.
Oh, beautiful, man. All right, so let's take a step back. We'll get to those questions and then what we're going to plug for you guys individually here in just a second, man. But as this show progressed, right? Obviously, we talked about what was under Double D's hat, man. I want to know how many times have you
giant dildo
question? What? Yeah, it's going to be a giant dildo, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't want to know your answers, but I would like to know, man, on a regular basis when this show was hot and heavy. How often do you think you guys, in particular, were asked that question?
Well, I yeah, that was the number one question, pretty much.
Really?
A Googleplex.
Yeah, a Googleplex. I think too when this thing came out, it wasn't the way the internet was nowadays. It's like fuck. Now it's just crazy. I can't even imagine if the Eds came out now, just what it would have been like with people contacting you, obsessing about questions. I mean, I still get letters in the mail from fans, but back then that was the big main way people would like contact you and ask you questions. Today it would have been like, I don't know, friggin' every friggin' day, 10 messages from people about what's under his hat. But so it's a little different.
I'm glad my job wasn't recorded, man.
Okay, I love Tony's dildo answer. The one that I would give to people, and it was based on a documentary I saw about these twins, conjoined twins in China. Well, they weren't technically twins, but one guy had an open mouth on his head with like teeth and a tongue that moved. And I thought, and that was like two twins that went bad. And then I thought it's Double D. So secretly he had this twin that went bad, and that's his other self on his head, and he covered it up to hide his brother. I thought that was kind of a twisted way of looking at it. So I thought, yeah, that's what it is. He's hiding a mouth and a tongue and teeth on his head.
And how better to shut it up than with a giant dildo?
Well, there you go. And then there you go. Then you stick a dildo in his head. That's
a mouth on the
right there.
With a rock in it.
It's a fucking mouth with a dildo in it.
There you go. Boom.
Bam.
You heard it here.
Yeah.
That's what that, boys and girls.
That's like National Enquirer type shit right there.
Told you, it's either going to be an instant classic or a shit show, and I like it's going to be an instant classic with you three. I really enjoy it, man.
An instant classic shit show.
Hey, either way, man, people are going to watch it, and then they're going to be sitting here talking like, oh shit, I never thought of there was a twin that didn't make it, so an aborted fetus on Double D's head, and they just in order to keep him quiet, they jammed a dildo in the top.
Well, that's the thing. Tony's has the older brother who had all the sex toys, and he was this guy, so he probably would have been like, he would have been looking at Double D like, oh my God, look at that fucking thing. You got to do something about it. Poink. Oh my God. Put it on.
And then you got to put the hat on to hide both.
Okay, somebody out there animate that. There's talented animators out there. Go and do that. Do a scene where he pulls up the thing. Eddie looks at his fucking mouth on his head. He says, "Dude, my brother," and he sticks a dildo on his head. And he puts the thing back on. Somebody animate it.
I know.
Imagine.
I know a guy. I know an animator. I'm gonna reach out to him after because with the show ending the way it ended, and it seemed like you guys, and by you guys, Danny really got to say everything you wanted to say with these characters, and you guys helped them along those ways. I mean, this is the last show. I think you guys ruined the cartoon industry in a sense, but in a good way. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. You guys ruined it in a good way because Danny essentially did what no other creator until him and probably since him has done. He got to tell his story his way with his people. You know, looking at from just talking to you guys, talking to writers, talking to the artists. Anything less than perfection was just not getting pushed through. You know, I hear all the time about the post-it notes being left on storyboard artists. You know, said, "Did you draw this with your ass?" Or, you know, "Where's the heart? Where's the soul?" You know, just shit like that. So I guess you guys really got to say everything you wanted to say, and we're going to talk about the animator that I'm going to ask to animate that scene. But obviously, Tony, you said the only reason you came on here was for these guys, and I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah.
But I know this has been asked, and it was asked at least 4 or 5 times. If the reboot were to happen, would you guys be willing to come back? I mean, 2 maybe, but Tony, would you be willing to come back if it did with all the same cast members?
Dude, yeah, I don't know.
Hey man, I don't know is better than no.
Oh,
Let's who's gonna do it if Danny's
Well,
not anywhere near it. Then it's
Probably,
not,
you know what? I'd probably get talked into it. Probably. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if they had a dump truck full of money, just backing up, regardless of Danny being the punk rock guy he is. I hear so many stories. I haven't had him on yet. I'm still working.
Put it this way. If Danny wrote it and wanted me to do it, yeah, I'd fucking do it. Yeah.
We're gonna make sure that hopefully that happens.
And it wouldn't and it definitely wouldn't be for the money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nonetheless, man, it's him coming and asking you guys to reprise this role. So if he were to do it, hopefully he would do it. But
Well, that's what I mean. If Danny did it and he asked, yeah, you goddamn right, I'd do it. Yeah.
There's something that I noticed, and don't let me forget about the animator. But there's something I noticed with you guys, and not just you guys specifically, but the writers and the artists, man. You guys have this very pack-like, family-like mentality. How long did it take for you guys to really get into that family mode? Was it? I know you guys said you guys clicked right away when everybody started with each other. But I mean, you guys going out doing trips and shit like that, other than the last Vancouver one, or what was it like?
No.
no.
We had like lunches and shit, but
I think that the time that I guess the voice people and the artist and producers and all got together was the Christmas party. The AKA Christmas parties was the one time where everybody, you know, I know that those guys worked their asses off to make this. The storyboard artists, they fucking worked their asses off, and it wasn't
those were good
fun,
parties.
and it wasn't always easy. But the Christmas parties when they let loose, and everybody really got.
It was fun.
Yeah. And there was a chance for us to all to get together and say, "Man, I love what you do." You know, and everybody
And
was
the
like,
white suit. Remember the white suits, man?
"Oh crap, that was the AKA. What was the anniversary? I don't even know how many
I
years."
don't know. We all had like John Travolta Saturday Night Fever suits on, man.
I still have the tape of that, but it's all gone fucked up. And I was hoping that I would be able to have the decent quality of it, but the sound was all messed up. But I still have some video of us walking around in our.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's just wild, man. I mean, of the legendary Christmas stories, excuse me, I apologize. I've heard quite a few, and quite a few of them I've actually had to cut out because, you know, during cancel culture, they don't want some of this shit getting out there. Like I had a really cool story that I'll tell you offline because Joel.
Oh yeah, don't cancel me.
But some of those guys are really, really worried, you know, and I heard a really good Comic-Con story that I'll tell you guys offline because Joel.
Okay, did anybody tell you about the gifts they gave away at
I've seen a couple. I've seen
the spank paddles. The spank paddles.
I still have the spank paddle.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
I do.
Jono,
And the yo-yo.
I didn't see the yo-yo, but Jono showed me. I believe it was a spank paddle. It was either him or Big Jim, and then I seen some condoms. And
handcuffs.
No, I haven't seen the handcuffs. It's like every time I have somebody on, somebody brings something different.
Yeah.
It's always just seeing like the different shit that everybody holds.
I tried to use those AKA condoms and now I got 2 kids.
That was part. It was. They were the joke condoms. They put holes in them. Damn it.
Oh, don't tell me then.
So, what about you, Matt? Man, is there anything from a Christmas party that you remember? That's beautiful.
You know, it's funny because like, oh, there he is right there. That's beautiful.
Oh.
I just remember because I don't drink a ton to begin with, but there's like some significant like I got so obliterated at a few of those parties that I actually like now that you guys are actually remembering that in my brain again because I actually forgot. I forgot that we wore white suits and like I think at one point I was like singing on the stage at one point. I don't know what the heck I was singing. It was all right, eh? But yeah, so like that, it was like anything that I had been, known to say partying on, every time I got, I went to a party, it was like taken to like 11 and beyond, wake up the next day and be like, whoa.
Matt, Matt's got to run 26 miles the next day. He says, dude, I got to do a marathon tomorrow, I can't be getting wasted right now.
Oh, and then I just be so liquored. It's just like, oh yeah. Like I'm walking down Water Street back. I remember from one, I think it was called the Rainforest Grill.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
Out on the glass.
Yeah. But
the glass awning.
That's the only thing I remember of it. I remember the name of the building. I remember being inside at one point, but then I just remember the walk of, I was like, I was gliding on my face to get home because it was just so hammered. So yeah, it was that was good.
That's fantastic, man. So, like I said, I won't keep you guys too long. I know you said you'll be here till the end, but I don't try to keep you guys any longer than I need to. So what we're gonna do, man. So Matt, I know you said you're working on your book, man. You're in your what'd you say? What was it? The COVID? You said something.
My COVID adjust because I was going to be running across Canada again, and because obviously with COVID we had to stay local, so I've done it locally. So, so the last chapter of my book is pertaining to that last chapter of this part of the run. So,
you got a title yet?
That's where I'm in right now. Right now it's called "I Run Like a Turtle." So it's because I come by it honestly, I'm pretty slow, and
You used to play a turtle, man.
Absolutely. Can I just say one thing that I needed these two guys to know, because it's the same thing with what like Tony was saying. He showed up because we both said we would, you know what I mean? Like that brotherhood, that for me is what I think is our lasting legacy as not only, same actors being able to be gifted to be able to, lend what we have with this show. That to me was what was the solidification of us playing these parts. But then, as Tony said, like Danny actually like forcing it out of us because his vision was so strong for this show. So we literally we bled for that because we knew everyone else was doing the same amount of like commitment. You know what I mean? And so for all the great reasons, that's why I think till the end of our days, the three of us will be friends till the end because we went through so much together in the sort of confines of this studio, right? That's
I love you guys.
what I take away from, you know what I mean? Like those are some of my most amazing experiences being alive as a human being, as an actor, right? Is getting to hang out with these two lumps and, and get to do this show. I mean, that for me, that's the gift, right? It's, so there you go. I said my piece. I hate you both.
So much.
Well, I gotta say, man, thank you for sharing that, man. I really appreciate that. But I know you said you're also running. Have they opened up how far you can run, or are you still pretty much confined in Canada as far as the marathon?
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, well, I don't actually get a pass out of my neighborhood just because of other reasons, but that's a whole other different story. No, right now I'm just staying local just to finish this thing. And then as when I get a shot in my arm, and we're allowed to be out in the, more, my plan at this point is to go around North America again, but do it in reverse this time. So that'll take me about 18 months to do. So that's what I'll be up to.
All right, man. And then do you have a date so far? Or are you still trying to kick it around to a publisher? And did you do what I had asked you about earlier as far as putting up on like GoFundMe shit like that, where you can sell tiers and then the fans will actually help you put that book into production as well?
You know what? I just on this one I decided it's because it's my story. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna finance it myself first. I kind of you know, maybe other things I'll throw out, you know, GoFundMe. Like when I get out on the road with the tour, that'll be a different thing where I can say, okay, fans, let's raise a ton of money. You know, because then I can give it back to the kids. So, you know, that to me is what feels better. So right. It's all about the kids.
Matt.
Yeah, he really
You're
is.
you're a truly beautiful human being, Matt. Just so you know.
Aw,
Good knowing
thanks,
you, buddy.
man.
So before we get into the questions, Sam and Tony, obviously Matt shared a beautiful story. I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way, and that's all I've ever felt whenever I've talked to any of the writers. You guys kept it like a family. You guys kept it so clean, so tight, right? But is there anything you guys would like to say before we roll into the fan questions?
I don't know. I'm just amazed that you got like the fans, the people that are passing on this show. I don't know. It's just a quality program. So whatever, people are passing on to their kids now. Like say, people are going to be coming up to, what, I don't know, we're at 22 years now. It's going to be the 25th anniversary eventually. It'll happen like this. We'll be like, what the fuck? It's 25 years now. And it's people who are finding the show online and getting passed down to their kids. It's
on HBO Max now, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
You
And
guys were trending for like 2 weeks when it hit HBO. When it hit HBO Max, I mean, everybody was talking about it and talking about passing it down. I've got an 11-year-old and I've got a baby on the way in the next 2 months. So we got another boy coming.
Nice.
So I've shared this cartoon with them as well as everything else I grew up on, because let's be honest, with the exception of Ninjago, Sam, because I like that one. My son watches that one too. There's a lot of shit cartoons. Yeah, there's like a shit cartoons out right now. There's nothing that's very good. There's nothing that has any substance, no soul, no heart, no nothing. Nothing like these. Because I mean, looking back at Ed, and Eddy, for me specifically, I lived on a cul-de-sac for a little while, right? So I had somebody like Eddy, like Double D, like Single D, right? I had the Rolfs and the, somebody's in my house, the Rolfs, the Jimmies. If I get murdered, you guys will see it. Just make sure you guys put up the bat signal, say, hey, this guy got killed. But you know, we all had these individual characters that every one of you guys played, right? I mean, so it meant something different for me, at least, right? I love this cartoon. You know, I want to say it was like a troubling time when I watched this, because everybody fucking says that bullshit. Oh, you kept me from suicide. You kept me from this. You kept me from that. I was a very happy kid, man. Easily adjusted, man. My dad wasn't in the picture, but who gives a shit? Most dads aren't in the picture. You know, so I had a single mom. And for some reason, it was just the first time I saw this. I don't know if it was what I later came to find out was that boiling line, all that pent up energy in all you guys as characters. When they would animate it, it was always moving. So Danny used to say that it's because kids have these
energy.
Yeah, right. So, you know, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was that caught my eye, or maybe it was, you know, this, that, or the other. But this cartoon has stuck with me for so long, right? And I used to have a bird, and I don't know if I told you this story. I brought it up a couple times with some of the Ed Boy people, but I used to have a bird, right? And his name was Nacho. He was a little cockatiel, and the reason he's Nacho is because I'm a fat fuck. I work in the food industry. I like nachos. Who doesn't? And he had these orange cheeks, right? So it looked like nacho cheese. You know, therefore, his name is Nacho. I got him right around when Ed, and Eddy would hit every morning at 6 o'clock during the school year. God damn it.
Those are kicking.
No, not that. I can't.
Oh yeah.
That was a very small one.
Yeah, the blues are kicking in, man. Fucking birds, man.
I don't know what it is, man.
I feel like all of a sudden Julian's gone. He's just like
I'll share a story with you. Just
continue with your Nacho the bird story, please.
But with this bird, right? So every morning he would get up with me, and he would hear the theme song for Ed, and Eddy, right? That start, right? And so with cockatiels, they mimic. They can pick up certain things. They can't have complex conversations with you because they're a fucking bird and their brains.
Unless you're ripped.
Unless you're ripped. And I gotta trust me, I got stories about edibles and animals, man. It's fun. It's not meant it to be, but it's fun. You know, so this bird over an entire school year, my 5th grade year, 6th grade year, something around that. I can't remember. I think it was 5th grade. Learned this song, right? Mind you, at the end of the night, yeah, he knew the entire whistle, right? So at the end of the night, when you take birds, you put a little blanket over them, and then it mimics the sun going down and them going to sleep. They shut the fuck up, essentially, right? So when summer started at 6 o'clock on the fucking dot, like Pavlov's dog, whenever it would ring a bell. This bird, every fucking morning during the summer, all I wanted to do was sleep in, and this little bastard sung the song. So not only did you guys speak to a little 10, 12, 11-year-old, however old I was at that time.
But the birds like it too, man.
Dude, the birds love it, man. Think about that. You guys have a completely untapped market right now. If you guys were to come back for this reboot, if it ever happens, you guys could play to the fucking birds sell out every time because they're just going to whistle like they did. So even if they can't understand 90% of the shit you're saying, they can whistle, right? So you guys got that. Let me tell you one quick edible story, and then we'll get straight into the questions. So
You have a sponsor?
No, I don't. You want to
sponsor, huh? Oh well.
Yeah.
This episode has been sponsored by Matt, Tony, and Sam's careers. Hopefully, if anything, the trajectory is up from here. But no, just on the side. So I took a fistful of edibles one time, and I didn't realize whether the person I got them from that said, "Hey man, take half as much because they're strong, or take all of them because they're not as strong." So like a soldier, I took all 5 or 6 cookies at one time. I didn't have shit to do. My kid was with my mom for the summer. I didn't have a job at that point, so I'm just gonna hang out, right? So whenever I get super stoned, I clean like crazy, right? So I'm in there scrubbing the fucking toilets, right? And then I didn't realize my female husky that I have, right? Her name is Ollie. Every time I get up, anytime I move, that dog is with me. I've had her since I got out of the Navy. And then, when I came home with her, she was sitting on my lap the entire 12, 13-hour drive, right? So this dog, best friends, right? So anywhere I go, she goes. So I'm cleaning the toilets, and then I hear hello, and I look around. I'm the only one in the house because my wife is at work, right? And I look back, and I'm like, no. And I look back, and I'm like, no, she didn't say shit, right? So I go back, I clean the toilets again, and I hear hello. I look back again. I'm like, are you talking? And then she's just looking at me. Her tail's wagging. And I'm like, say something again, please. I've always wanted a dog like Scooby-Doo. I want somebody to fucking talk to. Because whenever I'm having a bad day, I go and get her and we watch cartoons and she just sits there listening to me talk shit, right? So I'm waiting, wanting for her to talk. Didn't say nothing, right? Go back to clean the toilets, finish, flush. Turn around. I said hello. And I'm like, fucking say it again. Please, please, please. I'm looking at you. And I'm thinking that I'm going crazy, right? You guys remember that Warner Brothers cartoon with the frog? Every time he would dance, this one guy saw him and then he closed the box. He'd go and show somebody and it never did it again, right? So this is what I think is going to happen. I think I'm slowly going crazy, that this dog is only talking to me when my back is turned, and every time I turn around, nobody's going to believe me, right? And then she's like, pick up your phone. And I'm like, holy shit, you know the word phone. And then she's like, this is your wife. And I'm like, oh shit. So I look at my phone and I had butt dialed my wife at work. She heard the entire 3-4 minute conversation with my dog. She's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, I thought the dog was talking. And she was like, how many? And I was like, well, we've only got the one dog. How many what? And she's like, you know what I mean, how many? And I was like, no, how many what? And she's like, how many cookies did you eat? And I'm like, oh, I ate all of them. And then she's like, they told you not to eat all of them. They were super, super strong. Ended up eating like 300, milligrams worth of THC. Had a great, fantastic chat with my dog. But nonetheless, man, that was the first time I ever got some completely just obliterated. Thought my dog could talk. But yeah, so we're going to roll into the fan question. I don't know why I shared that story with you, other than it was just, I liked it. But yeah.
Oh yeah, my music. Make sure you check out my music.
Where can
Tony
they find
Sack, an artist, Spotify, whatever, Apple Store, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And
It's all original. I make the sounds. There's no samples. It's all me.
Is it what kind of music?
Drippy. You wish you would have had that when you were on those freaking edibles, man.
I smoked on 420 and listened to it. That's when I sent you a message.
Yeah.
Sitting out my rocking chair. Yeah,
Drippy, eh?
it was fantastic. So what about you, Sam? I know we got Ninjago. Is there anything else that you're working on that we can try to push traffic towards?
Nah, there's another kid show, but it's little kids. It's not.
How little? Because I got an 11-year-old. He might like it. We can get at least one.
Oh, okay. Well, it's called Giganto or Gigantosaurus. It's on Disney.
Okay.
I play a bratty raptor.
Okay, cool. Yeah, man. I'll make sure that we check it out. And we'll put
That was kind of like that. People are like, well, thank you for that push out there for that. You really sounded enthusiastic about that show. Maybe we won't bring you back, you little bastard. But
And Sam's kettled.
Not man, but nonetheless, I'll put all of the links into Matt. I'll get the ones for your book whenever, if you have a link that people can go and pre-order, you know, anything
Absolutely.
like that, as well as whatever thing you have set up for your run. This episode will drop this coming Friday. As soon as I found out all three of you guys, I was like, fuck whoever I got recorded for the last few weeks. Didn't suck a wiener. I'm putting these guys on first, right? So you guys are going on right away. So if you guys have your link for Spotify will be in there. Sam, whatever links you got, if you want to send them to Matt, or you can just send them to me, whatever you want to do, I'll make sure they're in the video as well, so people can just click, go, support, and do whatever they got to do. But getting into the fun thing, and the animator that I told you guys about, his name is George Abbington. He's doing have you guys seen on YouTube Peach Creek? He's doing somewhat of a revival where he's taking you guys as characters from the cul-de-sac, and I think it's their last year in high school. Have you guys seen this on YouTube?
No.
Oh man, I'll send you guys a link and you check it out if you want to. If not, you don't have to, but it's fantastic. This dude is amazing. He's a very young animator from London. He's living in Australia. I think he's like 22. He's doing all of this stuff pretty much by himself with a few artists here and there, but it's fantastic. I think it captures, you know, what the Ed Boys would be doing if and when they were growing up. But getting to that, he had the first question. And like I said, George Abbington from Peach Creek. He said, I think it's a general question for everyone. What's their favorite line from the show? And then did you guys ever have any influence over the art direction, composition, writing, solely Danny plus the writers and storyboard artists?
Danny was the show.
Beautiful.
And my favorite line, if you guys remember, I think I only did it like, I don't know, 200 or 300 times, was yep, good times.
Oh,
Good times.
no, don't break that.
Good times. Yep, good times.
Oh,
No, I think that was the first one.
you can imagine how traumatizing it is for me to hear it. You can only imagine how traumatizing it was for Tony to do it.
Yeah.
So what's more annoying? What's under Double D's hat, or your favorite line, Tony?
My favorite line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, you have no idea.
That might have been the day that broke your soul. I don't know. The name covered, but that was a harsh day.
Especially since we used the third one.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're gonna do 156 times. You know what? I think we had it on the third one.
Yeah.
Did he intentionally do it just to fuck with you, or was he being, you know?
No, I just think it had a certain thing in his head.
Yeah.
Danny had it in his head what it was supposed to be, and we were waiting to hear it.
Yeah. You know what I remember now is seeing your breaking point when there was a vein in your forehead. I would start to just throb, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
I don't know how many different ways you can say "yep, good time."
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
if I
remember
figured it out.
Well, a lot apparently.
Yeah. Well, you remember when I get stuck in a laugh? It was like, he's not sounding like Ed. Energy. I was like, oh, my brain's exploding.
Energy.
Oh. And then I think I finally spit blood. So like, all right, okay. Move
I
on.
have blood a few times yet.
Really? Blood?
Oh,
Oh yeah, man, I tasted blood plenty. Are you kidding?
Times, yeah.
Voice just bleeding.
Didn't
yeah.
you pass out too, or was that Sam?
I didn't pass out, I don't think.
I think it was me actually.
Might have been you.
So much all the time like that.
Well, we've all seen the sparkly sometimes when you do a line, and then all of a sudden you see a
yeah. It's like, ooh, wow. I mean, I don't. I
Sit down for a while. Huh?
Yeah.
It's.
I don't have a favorite line. I can't I don't have one.
Messy.
Messy. Oh dear, those are little things. I can't. I think I remember saying something.
You're in my personal space. Could you please get out? Thank you.
Something like that.
That was pretty good. And that was mostly Tony. We sounded a little too close to Sam, right? So just be like, okay, hello.
No. We used to get on each other's nerves a little bit. Like sometimes we had to learn when it was not the time to be like, because we would like to kind of push each other's buttons a little bit. But you knew, like, I remember there was a couple times where I remember Tony, he literally wanted to punch me in the face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was getting it from Danny, and then I would be bugging him about or something, and And
Yeah.
Matt would be like, I think he's serious, dude. I wouldn't fuck
If there
with
was any other place or time.
Yeah. There was a couple times where Tony literally would have punched me in the head for sure.
True.
And
yeah,
and,
for sure.
and after a while, I realized, no, he's serious here. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, dead serious, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still love you. It was more like a
No.
big
It was all love
brotherly
after,
punch in the head.
in the heat, in the trenches, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, it was like you're tempting fate here when you're trying to like push everybody's and then it's like, okay.
Mom, maybe I'll just sit over here and be.
Yeah.
Well, while Tony says, yeah, good times for the 15th millionth time.
It was such a fine line, wasn't it? It's because we were
It is, yeah.
like we were in the trenches together so like authentically, right? And so
I like the way you said authentically.
very much. I've been trying to learn that all day. So thank you.
My favorite thing was how there was lots of times where I thought I did so good. I was like, yes, that was awesome.
Yeah,
And it was just like,
do it
no,
again.
do it again. More energy. What is this?
Oh.
You know, too drama, took you forever. Blah. I was like, oh, okay. I thought that was a good one.
Can I tell you guys my favorite line still continues to be, it wasn't at the time because I actually forgot, but literally was kick my feet. And it
Yeah.
was, I only have one image that I think, didn't I just float by on a fucking log or something? Or
Yeah,
in the
something
back
like
of a
that.
boat or something? But
Yeah.
when we were going around North America, that was the line that I was able to like say to the kids. So like, 2,000 kids going like, would you like to believe in your dreams? Right. And 2,000 kids go, yeah. And then I'm saying, okay, well, just keep kicking your feet towards your dreams. Right. And
Very good.
so I was just like,
That's awesome.
Oh, a
Man,
gift. Yeah.
my face hasn't hurt this much in a long time. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. So we got Manny12445.
That's a big
Was there a
number.
moment when the Eds were going to date the Cankers?
Oh shit! I think Ed got into all three of them.
Ooh.
Why I think he's always laughing with his head back? Oh,
Yeah,
running off
it's
on
like,
the canker.
I got too licked. I was like,
You would not believe what I just did. Right? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Eddie probably got paid from him.
Eddie was the one shooting the movie. What are you talking about? If
There you
that's-
go.
Yeah.
that's it.
It's like,
Eddie would be like, how can we make money off of this, man?
Yeah.
Ed and his super schlong. Let's get it out there.
That's why
I'm getting tired, Eddie.
And that's after.
And I would just saying,
Eddie, this lighting is atrocious. How is anybody going to see Ed's schlong?
Double D would have been the fluffer.
yeah.
Oh, good.
oh,
Oh, you could-
oh, you'd be like, I'll tickle your
Make sure you sanitize with a little friggin'
Oh
spray.
my goodness.
Totally.
When was the last time you showered, Ed?
Sorry, buddy.
The lube boy.
Oh, I mean,
Oh God.
someone please crack a window.
Oh,
Oh my god.
I think that answers that question.
I hope not. If that doesn't.
And then Eddie goes, Ellie, quick, give him your dildo.
There you go. Someone should animate that one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's George. I'm gonna get him right onto that one.
Oh no.
So
Just
Oh.
Eddie's there. And action. It's like, oh God.
yeah.
Oh.
So Matt, this is for you, but I'm sure everybody's gonna weigh in. How many pounds do you think Ed can bench press given his strength?
Well, a whole heck of a lot of pressed buttered toast, that's for sure. So I would say at least 100 kg.
It all depends if he thinks zombies are around. Because if
That's-
there's zombies, his
That's it,
fucking
yeah.
strength goes up like 100 times.
That's
So
true.
regular Ed could probably bench press like 600 pounds. But if he thinks like a zombie is going to eat
Yeah.
his mom or something, he could probably fucking just lift the whole goddamn house.
I'm more like a leg presser, so like that's like for real, like if you just did that, I could probably leg press like pretty much like the entire. And,
Squatting house, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know how they have the hammer thing and you ding the bell at the fair? Well, Ed just uses his fucking head.
Well, if he's not using that huge schlong, I think.
Or a schlong, yeah.
Just right off the shoulder.
They ding the bell, ding the bell.
I don't even have to pay for the hammer. Oh, I got my own.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Didn't have a lot of control over it. That's all.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I'm so fucking glad I'm alive today. Mythbusters sent me from Reddit wants to know, why don't birds just take a bus south for the winter?
Why don't the what take a bus out for the winter?
Birds.
Which birds?
I fucking find them, and some of these questions are weird.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I think the birds have wings, man, and they can just fly.
There you go.
There it is.
Wings.
Well, the migratory patterns of birds are absolutely fascinating.
No, I have no answer for you, man.
No.
Well, we tried.
Maybe they're penguins.
Closest Axe wants to know, was there a line that you always wanted to say but couldn't, or have them? Well, you guys have already impersonated each other, so I don't ever. Whenever I have voice actors on, last thing I want to do is it's like having a comedian on. Hey man, tell me a joke. I don't want to ask you guys to do your fucking voices. It's annoying.
Did you say, was there a line we wish we could do but couldn't?
Yeah.
Yep. Good times. I wish I could do it, but I just couldn't.
Oh shit! We lose Matt. Hold on 1 second. Fuck it. I'm positive. It's going.
Yeah, I don't pause it. Just keep going, man.
All right.
We'll find Eddie.
You've been recording all that raw shit at the beginning. You missed out some crazy.
I'd like to. Nope, not over there. What's the most inappropriate thing they got away with saying on the show? Did you guys slip anything in there? There he is.
I have no idea, man. I don't know. I just did what I was told.
Yeah, really hard to slip anything into that show.
Welcome back, Matt.
Hi guys.
Hi, Matty.
There was no real slipping in lines here and there for I remember one time, and I was amazed. I made a slight suggestion to turn, like, Ed was calling it something about a rabbit, and I said, Ed wouldn't say rabbit, he'd say bunny. And I remember Dan goes, yeah, he'd say bunny. I was like, holy shit, he took that.
Wow, they're actually gonna use that.
Like that's the only time I ever think that he actually went, yeah, that's better. So there wasn't a lot of slipping things in or changing dialogue. At
least not as the show went anyway.
That's a whole
So, Banana Chip King wants to know, why do you think the show stands out in people's minds more so than so many others?
Because it is original. It doesn't follow any pattern, guideline, structure of other shows. It's not like any other show. It's original.
Beautiful.
And energy.
He said, yeah.
You had, Danny was old school kind of animation lover, right? Going back to, one of the, Tech Savior for sure. But you look at the, and even at the time you watch it and you go, and then it goes somewhere. You think it's going this place, and then it goes somewhere completely fucking different.
Yeah.
And you never knew, like, what, you know what I mean? You never knew where the show was going to go. I mean, it all kind of made sense, but at the same time, it didn't, it never followed a typical story pattern. Okay. And just in pure animation, aside from the characters and having all these cool characters, you look at the physical comedy and the actual animated gags that they were doing. You don't see that anymore, really. The way they're doing the animated stuff, harkening back to like Tex Avery and those, there was so much of that physical comedy and ideas put in those things about old school animation, what made it so good. It's the whole show. When you go back and watch, it's just filled with that stuff.
Yeah,
Filled
Yeah.
with that
one of
stuff,
the
you
it might
know?
have been one of the last shows. I'm just going to use it as fact because I don't fact check shit around here.
Yeah.
But I think it was one of the last shows Cartoon Network did where it was actually pencil to paper, and shortly after they started switching to almost an entirely just everything digital. So
Well, yeah. And even Danny had that on his. He got a new tattoo
digital art.
claiming, as a fuck digital draw, and we're all like, fuck digital draw, like, okay, and we don't, like, but now it's like you go, yeah, fuck digital draw, right? But this is
I think you lose a lot of that heart and that soul when you're not, it sounds fucking super pretentious, I know, but pen to paper, or pencil to paper, you're putting something in there, you have to physically erase it. It doesn't come out perfect each time. And then when you have something like a tablet, you can just sit there and wipe away, and it's like it never fucking happened. So I really do think you lose something in between there. Like how great this conversation would be if we were all in the same bar, right? Smoking, drinking, and having a good time. It would have, more heart, more soul than this, even though this is fucking fantastic. At first of everything, Tony, right over there, man.
And I'd be wearing pants too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, especially not after some drink.
So Gemini 720 wants to know, not choosing your own character, who is your favorite character?
Rolf.
Ralph, yeah. I don't know if Matt's getting ready to answer or not. Matt, you thinking it over, mulling it over?
Yeah, man. It's like, God, so because I like honestly I loved every single character. Because I love everybody, but it's obviously because I got to play Ed, to me it's a treasure for me just as a human being. But I don't know, man. I think nope, I go with the first one. I just love everybody, man, because that's, to me, it was the brilliance that every single character brought to it that is, once again, I think is what made the show so freaking amazing, right? Because you know what I mean? It's that's my answer. Although I always had a bit of I really actually had a bit of a crush on Naz, but that's a different story.
Yeah, join the club, man.
Sam, what about you? Did you hear the question? Either way, other than your own character, who was your favorite on the show?
Like I said, I thought Johnny 2x4 was just interesting. He's just
he's cool.
strange as hell.
Like,
but I liked, I don't know, man. Rolf was I loved all the characters. I can't say that there's, Matt would fucking crack me up sometimes just because he was just, some of the lines that Matt would be given would just be like, just, I don't know. Sometimes you just feel like, oh God, that's so fucking funny. I mean, when I would watch the show, I'm being honest, Matt would make me laugh the most when Ed would just make me fucking laugh. He was such a fucking tool, it was just,
It'd probably be a tie between Ed and Rolf, but it's the 3 shoe beating freakouts that just did me in, man.
Yeah.
Rolf still has my favorite line and insult of anything I've ever seen in my life, and I try to use it at least on a weekly basis. Sometimes I dial it up just to say it, but whenever I think he's got Kevin in his hands and he says, "Confess to your crimes, you stale end piece of white bread." And I don't know what it is about being called a stale end piece of white bread, but it resonated with me. I'm like, man, that's like the corniest white dude in the world. I'm like, fuck, it hurt.
That's close to a cracker.
Yeah. You're first. So he always had the greatest insults. So I'm Ozonit 23. There's 22 of those already taken. Obviously, you know what they're up to these days. They're still voice acting, and Tony's doing some other projects. So Blood Otaku wants to know. Nope. What do they? Jesus Christ! I should have fucking went and pre-read some of these ones. So one of the questions they want to know is, do you guys think the Ed Boys Peach Creek and the cul-de-sac is purgatory? with the exception of the hat thing, right? I watch cartoons just to veg out, just to enjoy my time, relax, decompress. All these crazy fan theories that I've heard that the Rugrats are all in Angelica's mind. Tommy was stillborn, the twins died, and all this other crazy stuff, these fan theories. And the one they wanted to know is all the cul-de-sac kids in purgatory, and is that why the parents don't exist? You guys ever heard that one?
I've heard of the purgatory theory. I've never really contemplated it that much. And the parents do exist. You just never see them.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Purgatory, man. I don't know. Dude, maybe they're not, man. I don't know.
This
Maybe, I don't know.
like I said, there's like 4 or 5 different Double D's hats. There's a dildo and then an unborn fetus in there. So we answered that one.
Yeah.
So to me, I want to see that into a T-shirt. If we're being completely honest, if anybody can pull it off, I think Danny could. I mean, that'd be a fantastic.
That would be a sick T-shirt. I'd wear it.
I'd wear it to my kid's school.
I think what they should do is they should do a T-shirt with a Velcro hat, so you can put it on. So it's
There
like
you go.
and you fucking just rip it off your shirt and put it back on. What's under there? And you go, oh fuck! Ah!
Yeah.
I've got my pad and I'm writing that one down right now.
I want to see it out there. Market it, somebody.
Cool.
You could have
I want
3
5% of the IP. I know Cartoon Network owns everything, but who cares?
Ed could have Velcro pants when you pull it off. He's just got that
Oh shit!
friggin'
Yeah,
giant
we need to do like one for each character.
No,
One where the pants come off and it's friggin' like tied to his ankle.
it's just wrapped around like an anaconda all around one of the legs. Yeah.
And maybe fucking Eddie, Eddie has a little tiny fucking alien fucking operating him. He was just a fucking, humanoid fucking, alien robot or something. I don't know. Fuck.
There you go.
There it is.
Pull the shirt off and it's just a robot.
Yeah, it's just a fucking little mini robot fucking alien operating him.
Must make more fucking jawbreakers. More jawbreakers for our planet.
Oh, you're hilarious.
Oh, fuck.
I'm writing down all the T-shirt ideas. We just got to come up one for Eddie. So we got Double D's one with a hat with a Velcro and then a dildo, and then Ed long schlong Velcro tape over his crotch, and then a picture of his wang. We got to come up with one for Eddie. So
Yeah, Eddie, you take the shirt off. He's being controlled by an alien that survives off jawbreakers.
alien jawbreakers, got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna see what I can do about these T-shirts.
He's just a robot.
All right, so Timmy the Fox wants to know: buttered toast with gravy or gravy with buttered toast? This is some deep shit. Yeah, it's tough.
Well, I'd say buttered toast and gravy, or gravy and buttered toast. It's all fucking good. So
It depends. If Ed's taking it to go to school, then it's just gravy on buttered toast. But if he's fucking at home, he's just fucking on a plate, fucking gravy and the toast in the middle.
yeah,
Searching the shit.
Right.
yeah, full slather.
I think we found out everybody's favorite line and Tony's not so favorite line. Did you guys expect the show to have been as loved as it is by so many?
No.
Nope.
I don't have any expectations at all.
No.
You know, as actors, right? We're just super stoked to be able to keep working and, apply our trade as voice actors. And so, the only way that I know, because I didn't watch video games, I never read trade papers and this and that. I knew we were getting really popular when every time Danny or somebody would come in from, the show and say like, hey, well, we're #1 here, or hey, you guys, you had a good week here or whatever, right?
I didn't play in Canada either when we were doing it. So
No.
There was some kind of cool stories that you would hear from people like internationally, because Cartoon Network was everywhere at that point and was becoming an international thing. I remember my ex was on a plane coming back from Israel, and she was on the plane with some American, I'm not sure if they're Marines or Army, but she just got caught in a conversation with them, and she mentioned, oh yeah, my husband's, he's a cartoon guy and he's on Ed, Edd and Eddy, and they all freaked out because that's when they were stationed over there, they were fucking watching cartoons, and that was one of the shows that they were watching, so they were tickled pink that Double D, so, that was kind of a cool thing to hear about, like internationally, different people were really into it,
Well,
that was kind of cool.
And when we were on our run around North America, same thing across Canada, like nobody knew Ed and Eddy. And the second we went into the States and we did our first school, it was like, holy shit. Like we got like, 2,000 kids in each school and their teachers and parents going like, what? Holy fuck, what? And so, so for like 50,000 kids and 220 school presentations, that's when I really realized actually how effing popular this show was just south of us in America, right? And so, it's like then you take this around the world and you go like, like that. Now we know how many people watched it. Right? It's just like it's kind of huge, It's
Yeah, it's one of those ones that hit. And then I'm glad you brought that up because I actually took this show with me when I would deploy. I told Tony this story briefly when we first started talking a few months ago. There was certain things that I took with me whenever I would deploy. Obviously, if you could see him in the back, huge comic book fan. So I would always take comic books and books, grown-up books and shit like Stephen King, stuff like that. But I always had, and I wish I had it up here, but I had a DVD case, and most kids, won't have DVD cases anymore. I had 2 or 3 of these things that weighed about 40 or 50 pounds. And back in that day, in the Navy, you don't really buy DVDs. One person would buy DVD and then everybody would rip it, right? And put it on a disc, and then everybody had that movie. You can get it off. Most people know torrenting and shit like that. So I had the entire series of the Ed Boys, Dexter's Lab, insert any show essentially from Cartoon Network or, Nickelodeon. And I had these shows with me. And when I would feel at my lowest, right, or I'd feel like, oh, fuck, I just miss my wife and son because we had just got married. We had just had our first kid. I missed the first 4 years of his life essentially. And like when you're out to sea and you're by yourself, you're around people, but you're by yourself. You're on this isolated island. Crazy shit goes through your head. You're just like, fuck, man, like, why did I do this? You guys were able to break that cycle of that, just not self-pity, but just, always being down, depressed, missing my wife, missing my son, missing first words and first walks, first steps and all that other crazy shit. You guys were able to take my mind out of the depression that I was in during that time and refocus it and just decompress essentially, right? I didn't know I could smile then. And you guys gave me a choice, or you guys gave me the opportunity to smile with this show. So you guys mean a lot to a lot of fans, is essentially what I'm getting at, me being included. And a lot of them we would see on, a lot of these cartoons we would see on AFN. They would show them on the Armed Forces Network when we'd be deployed. So you guys did something at a specific point in time that can't be measured with analytics. It can. They'll tell you how many viewers you watch, so I'm already sounding stupid. But it goes further than analytics, goes further than a Nielsen rating, goes further than numbers and rankings and ratings and all the other shit, man. You guys touch so many lives by just doing what you guys do, man. Like I say all the time, you guys don't write it, you don't fucking sit there and draw it, but you guys add that last element. For those two mediums, they're both two-dimensional, right? Writing and art is two-dimensional for the most part when you're drawing. You guys are that third, right? You guys made it 3D for a lot of us fans. You guys sat there and sucked into the heart and soul of this show and gave us something to fucking be a fan of. So right off the bat, man, hats off to you guys. I appreciate everything you guys have done. You guys did something, like I said, that was so fucking phenomenal with the dildo on his head. So phenomenal. And I think that's why so many fans love this show because of that reason, right?
Yeah.
So let's get to a couple more of these questions. How'd you manage? Oh no, if you could get, Jesus Christ, these fucking people are idiots. Have you guys? Oh, sorry. Like I'm sitting here reading some of these guys' questions, and it's like, did you autocorrect 90% of this shit? None of this stuff makes sense. Fuck, man, reread something once or twice. It might help. Talking to you, Reddit. What were your thoughts on where Ed and Double D would be today? And we're going to throw in Eddy because Tony was a surprise guest here today. So where do you guys think Ed and Eddy would be right now?
Crickets.
Eddy would probably have his own legal grow up, man.
Wow, man, it makes perfect sense.
You kidding me? Eddie would friggin' be a dealer for sure.
Well, you guys could really make a Breaking Bad run at this because you've got a chemist right here, and you've got a pack mule diagonally from us, guys. Right, Matt Hill, he can carry all that weight. He can carry.
Ed would have been the enforcer. Oh, that's funny.
Like Breaking Bad. We could have like Ed's Breaking Bad
Ed
of it, right? Yeah. Just be like, okay, Eddie, okay, load me up. You know, it's like,
For Double D, I think the mother-son bond is so strong there, it would be really hard for him to leave.
like base motel leave.
He'd
Like,
still be living with his mom.
venture out into the world. Like Eddie would be like, come on, let's get a fucking place together, you know?
I don't know. I mean, I'm saving here on rent.
my mom, I need to take care of my mom. Yeah,
You know, so
Yeah. Totally.
that's true.
I think anything that Double D would do, Eddie would be making. Like, if Eddie's going to do the grow up, he's going to need, like you said, he's going to need the chemist, and he's going to need the, you know, and Double D definitely has a, he loves botany, for sure. You know, he was like, dude, we got to make these strains so friggin' potent.
Oh, fascinating. All right.
So I think he'd be very, very interested in making those TH levels like just friggin'.
Yeah.
Like the chemistry behind it. How can we do this?
My little buds, how can we make you? Here you are.
And I talk to them and shit.
Exactly.
Eddie be like, fuck, let me try some already. Is this stuff good or not?
Not selling it.
So what do you?
And I'd be studying fucking Eddie's response to the THC and
Fascinating. How's it?
and he'd be like,
And Ed's response would always be the same.
yeah.
I too.
Are you feeling it, Ed? And you'd be like, oh.
I mean, I think it'd be neat. I mean, I could probably
Gravy and toast, It's just like, oh shit.
Well, I think I'd be able to definitely like do the pedal power or something like that. Like if that was a way for us to generate like the.
Yeah, because we wouldn't want to be on the grid because they'd figure it out. So we need like power to generate our own fucking electricity.
Kind of like a Flintstone thing or whatever. Yeah.
Kick your feet, Ed. Kick your feet. Yeah.
Kick my feet. Okay, up we go, Eddie. Here we go. Grow, little buddies. Yeah.
Just put a box. He's just watching zombie movies 24/7. You feed him his gravy and his toast.
Yes, paddle it away.
Oh, yeah.
We have to revisit that earlier question, and we're gonna, instead of doing pounds, we're gonna do it in kilos. So how many kilos do you think Ed could lift out of the forest because of Eddie's grow up?
Well, I mean, like for real, it's endless possibilities there, mister. I could like because if it was for my brothers, then that's to me, that's that's it right there, right? Because I think if I've learned anything, it's about grow load, man. So let's
Beautifully said. This one we might have to skim over because I'm not one of those fans that can tell you what happened in each episode. Maybe you guys know, but like I said, we can skim over it if we need to. Is the Ed, and Eddie episode, the Eds Are Coming canon? If so, where would it fit in the show's timeline? I'd have to go back.
Between the first episode and the last episode.
You heard it here first.
Was that the zombie apocalypse aliens coming to get us all? That one?
I honestly can't remember. I mean, I'm rewatching the series now, but I'm not one of those guys that just can sit there and retain like
the Eds Are Coming,
all that other shit. So I'll do some homework after this, and then I'll report back to Matt so he can report back to you guys. So how was your relationship with the rest of the crew? Well, you've seen what you guys, or how you guys interact now. And do you still talk? So were you guys other voice actors and stuff like that, voice actresses as well? Were you guys pretty close, or which everybody just clicks? Ed's, the Cankers, the other cul-de-sac.
Oh yeah, I love all of them, man.
Yeah. No, it was a good crew of people. The thing is that they would break it up, so it wasn't the full cast. They would like get the other characters in there, and then they just throw the Eds in there. And it was just us in the studio most of the time.
Yeah.
Just
it would have taken 12 hours if you had all of us in there.
Well,
they did it for time's sake, but
I think the first episode we did it. We did it one time.
Yeah. Usually it would be like we come in after they'd done the other characters, and we kind of say hi to them and how'd it go, and they're like, ah. And then
Yep, good times.
yep, good time.
We were the 2 o'clock crew all the time.
Was
Ours
it the
were
2
two,
o'clock crew? Yeah.
Or 1 to 6 or whatever. Yeah.
But everybody enjoy. Like I say, most of the time it would be at the Christmas parties where we would, all hang out together and have fun.
That must be Ed's voice chatter, his little music when he just the schlong one. But as we go to the next one, Sam the Kitnix, I think that's right. As adults, what brands and type of alcohol would you guys drink as your characters?
Oh, I would drink non-alcoholic booze, probably.
Reasonable.
Some Swan Lager, maybe. Here.
Eddie would have had to gone to treatment and would have been sober now.
What about you, Ed? What is Ed drinking besides gravy?
I'd be drinking like sparkling water because I think Ed's heart is that pure. It's just like everything is sparkly, so it's yeah, it's good.
Well, see, Eddie would have been the one that's introducing us to all this stuff. He would give us a little sip of like friggin' wild. We'd be like,
My God, man, how do you drink this stuff? It's absolutely atrocious.
And Eddie would be like, yeah, grow a pair, Double D. And we're like, oh, fuck, okay, So I think anything that we tried, it would have been pushed on.
Eddie's fault for sure.
Have you tried, like he'd be like, this is the first time he's like friggin' jawbreakers that were dipped in some kind of hallucinogenic or something.
Oh, man,
that'd be a good episode.
Yeah. There you go. These got a special kick, and they're like 2 hours.
My older brother.
Oh, my brother, yeah, my older brother
gave me these jawbreakers. He said they were special.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, the pupils.
Oh. See, these are the things we want to see. They're tripping. We're just going through the cul-de-sac and seeing all the characters.
Yeah.
Psychedelic cul-de-sac, man.
Yeah, dude.
Or like falling over and just like licking whatever it is on the ground in front of
you. You did that anyway.
Like it's like a liquid, and then it's just like and then
the dirt tastes like dirt.
Yeah.
I think Ed was always licking shit anyway, so
it's true.
So, I think you guys kind of answered this one, but Water Sandwiches wants to know: did you have any inspiration for the characters? Did you have any inspiration for the characters for some of the scams that were pulled on the show? We essentially, you came out and said, "Oh, he should say bunnies instead of rabbits," and I know it was all Danny.
That was the mind, the brain, super brain working on that with the writers and the storyboard artists.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would just get our massive friggin' storyboards, like they were so detailed, like so specific, like all the gags and everything. It was this was for like an 11-minute. It was this thick. Storyboards, and you got your script and you got your storyboards.
Yeah.
And you needed to go through them just to know exactly, because if you didn't, Danny would know it. He would know you didn't see it because you don't know exactly precisely what's going on right now, do you? And you're like, yeah, I do. No, you don't. Go look at and then go through the friggin' storyboard and look at that moment right there on that panel. You go, oh, okay, got it. So, but we would do that. We would actually sit before we recorded. We would go through the storyboard together with Terry, who was the voice, and we sit down all together and go through that big damn storyboard and go through the panels and just go through it once before we recorded, just so we all were kind of
fresh,
ready.
And
it was energy, faster.
Did you guys? it's gonna sound like an ignorant question, I guess, or a stupid question, but were you guys, whenever you would record your lines, was it one in at a time, or were you guys physically in the same room playing off of each other?
Oh no, we were in the same room poking each other in the ribs every time we fucked up for sure.
Yeah, we were all within punching distance of one another, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who got hit more?
Nobody got hit.
It never came to that.
It came.
Nobody got hit.
Yeah, no.
No,
I feel pretty thankful that I, just as me, got to be standing in the middle between these two. So it was perfect.
maybe that happened. No, you were always on the far side.
I was
You
in the
were
middle.
closest to the door. Tony was in the middle, and then Tony was right next to me, and that was part of the thing. Is like he was always next to me.
Oh,
And
You know what though?
you're
For all
right.
the joking about the hitting and stuff, there was a lot of times where it was fucking absolutely amazing. There was very, very few times where it was actually like, I'm gonna punch you out.
no, it wasn't like that. But it was because there were certain times, and I'm not going to say every episode was like that, but out of all the episodes that we did, there was maybe 3 or 4 recordings where it was just a little extra that day, like whether
It was
know-
somebody's turn that day.
Yeah.
it was somebody's
We all had our turn.
Yeah. So, and those days it would, you kind of just backed off in the whole thing just because you knew today's not the day to like be ribbing somebody because they were getting hammered or whatever. So it was
Yeah.
but I mean, one of my first episodes, it was kind of a fun memory is like, I think it was maybe the second episode we done. I came into the studio and Tony had done an all-nighter somewhere. And I come into the studio and this is Tony literally sitting in getting like I come into the studio and this is Tony.
I made it, dude. You know what? I won't even tell the story, but I can tell you right now, it was worth it.
Yeah. And I can't even, I do kind of remember what he said, where he was, but then I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, man, I just been out all night. I was like,
It was worth it.
And well, I went to bed at 9 o'clock and I'm prepared. Look at me. I mean, I have my little sandwiches here.
I didn't mean to, but that's an opportunity you cannot pass up.
yeah. I remember it was something. It was like I was listening to a story like a kid, like, wow, and then what happened? Oh, gee, I wish I knew, girls.
Living vicariously through Eddie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, but anyways, that was just, I remember that moment. It was pretty funny.
And just let me clarify real quick. When I mean punching, I don't know if I said punching or hitting. What I meant to say is you were talking about ribbing, elbowing people in the ribs. So who do you think got elbowed more whenever you would fuck up a line? Who fucked up more is what I'm getting at.
Oh, me for sure.
I'm gonna say honestly, I think Tony got hammered the most out of all of us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I really did.
Okay.
And yeah.
Well, and just when you'd think, okay, it's not going to be me, this right? Like today, fuck. Before you know it, it's like, fuck, it's me today, or like. But most of the time, it ended up getting, Tony ended up getting the brunt of it for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, but you always knew when it was just like, I know that's what I prayed for, going, please don't let it be me today, please, just let me get throw. Let all my takes go like, oh yeah, that's pretty good, he got it, right? But then the second it's just like a train wreck, it just all of a sudden it's just like, fuck, I'm not gonna, and then
yeah, lots of takes ended with the word fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost had it.
Exactly. You're like, yes, got it in my answer.
Last word.
Fuck you. No. Yeah.
Yeah. The dud wants to know, what would dinner with your characters be like? Oh, I know how it's gonna end, Tony, but how's dinner gonna start?
Escargot, some appies, maybe some calamari, some deep fried pickles, steak bites, whole bunch of shit, really, or one of everything. Maybe I'll take 2.
Well, I would want to make sure that everybody washed their hands before dinner.
Sanitize, have a little spritzer.
Yeah, a little spritzer.
I think Double D would be exploring some kind of fascinating cuisine from a far-flung stretch of the corner of the earth. Who knows? Maybe he'd be trying some insects that were a prime dish of some kind of foreign place where.
Fascinating. Have you ever had deep fried spiders before? They're quite good.
And high in protein.
Yeah.
High in protein.
I don't want to go to Double D's house for dinner, but what kind of top shelf bread is Ed breaking out, Matt, for his dinner?
Oh, top shelf bread. Just it's a classic. It's like Wonder White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the Wonder Bread of the Great White North?
It's beautiful.
Is Wonder White the same thing as Wonder Bread? Just it's.
No, he meant Wonder Bread, but he's Ed.
Oh.
Yeah. Wonder White. Isn't that what it's called?
No.
Wonder bread that's white.
Wonder Bread. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have it very much, but when I had it, it was really awesome.
He wasn't allowed to eat it as a kid.
We had no name stuff. So when I got, some of my buddies had they had the classic American brands. I was like, oh, I want some of that. So yeah, Wonder White for sure.
Nah, man, they still do it down here. They've if you got Nashville hot chicken, most of the time, or anything that's worth its weight in barbecue. Whenever you go to a barbecue, if you see them wrapping out, wrapping paper like the butcher paper on your barbecue, you're in a good spot. And they always put 2 slices of Wonder Bread on there and then pickles, so you got a little sandwich. But Nashville hot chicken, they serve it on Wonder Bread as well. Most reputable places, at least, the good places.
Reputable. You get little donuts and gravy on the side too.
Well, it's funny. I was stationed in Virginia. We actually had a Tim Hortons on base. I think it was like one of 2 maybe in the States, but I know for 1 or 2 specifically 4 bases. I think we were the only base that had Tim Hortons. But what is it? Not Dippin' Dots. Oh shit.
Timbits.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
They would always get a whole shitload of those and bring them in.
Oh, the Timbits, yeah, dangerous.
Yeah, those will put shit, man. When you have to be in a profession where you actually have to watch your weight and work out, dude, they would bring fucking 100, 200 of these damn things, and I'm a fat piece of shit. So I see food, I'm like, well, nobody's gonna eat this. I might as well, don't want to go waste. So I'm just sitting here. I'm trying to watch my weight. Put on like 10 pounds when I went up to Virginia, just off of donuts, man. So it's a struggle. You already answered that one. Do they think they represent the characters in real life, or do you have anything in common with them? That's from Proto 00.
Yeah, I think so.
Man.
I just think, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just I don't know, energy thing. I think I think there's some parts of Double D that are definitely there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him come out that way, like when Tony was like finishing his butts on the side of your house, and then chucking them into the water source. But then you really remembered to tell him that like this is like an estuary,
And
his reply to you was exactly the same way Eddie would. Basically, he's going, "It's not a fucking estuary, it's fucking I'm like, oh my god. These 2 are these characters, and then I realized, holy fuck, so am I. So it's, I think we come by them honestly. That's it's like I'll take that as a good thing, right? So
awesome, Matt.
Stacks of Buddha wants to know best fan experience, favorite gag, or running. I'm assuming you meant to say running one off. I think I'm not sure, but best fan experience you guys have ever had. I got to imagine this is the What's on My Head podcast. I mean, you guys don't have to say that, but I'd imagine it's
no. I mean, up to this point, yeah, this is number 1 now. But previous to that,
well, he said too, you bet your sweet bippy. Yep.
I don't know, best single fan experience. I like to say, some of the things that you said today is I've heard, from 1 or 2 fans that talk about suffering through severe illness, being hospitalized, and just having Ed and Eddie be kind of like a light through that tough time in their life, And so that kind of stuff it still gets me emotional because I go, wow, that means something to me. People fighting with illness and knowing that hearing our kooky voices and watching that show made them laugh and just take their minds off their troubles. That's huge.
Yeah.
So for me, that's probably the biggest thing that I've and up to this day too is still I don't, when I do interact with the fans, everybody's in a different place dealing with different things, and they go, that show just gives me just tickles me and gives me some hope. And I go, that's great, fantastic.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. Like I said, man, you guys have touched a lot of people, and it's, looking back on this, you guys lent a voice, man. Like I said, you guys created something, and when you can tell that whoever's doing whatever they're doing, if their heart and their soul's really in it, they're actually having a good time. It translates past what you guys do as a job. You get to see that. You can always tell when somebody doesn't give a shit about food, right? Whenever they cook something for you, bland, tastes like shit. Good enough for me, good enough for them. Same thing with movies or any kind of entertainment. When somebody's got their heart and their soul, or they're wearing their emotions out there and they're opening up to an extent, you feel that, you see that, and then it's very rarely is it ever replicated after that, right? It's like catching lightning in a bottle. So, like I said, thank you for sharing that. I think we've answered what it was like working with Danny Antonucci. We've got some great stories that we've heard. Do you guys have a favorite episode that you voice acted while being on this show? Was there one that stands out?
The last one.
The last one?
The last show.
That was an epic adventure, and it was
Yeah.
Even recording, like the first the intensity of the first half hour of that, I guess it's a movie technically, the intensity of us just being freaked the hell out, and the audience doesn't know what the heck's going on and why this intense kind of like scene is going on, where we're just so amped up and freaked the hell out. And it's just like, doing that whole intro to that show was just like intense.
Yeah.
Especially because when we hear energy, well, times that times 10, because that's where we had to be through the whole beginning of that.
Yeah.
It was that was pretty, epic thing I got to go back and watch it again. I've seen it like twice, but it's time to maybe go back and watch it again.
While I'm getting to the next question, would you guys watch the show while it was on, or not really?
Well, it wasn't playing Canada, man.
Well, yeah, I know, but would they ever send, like, I know some people, they would send shows.
Yeah, we
had
got copies of it. We got
Yeah, that's true. They'd burn some copies for us, which was nice to watch, and I still have a few of those.
Got them as well.
I still got VHSs, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they got and then it started VHS, and then they started giving us burned DVDs, which
I
was
still got Ed and Eddy VHS tapes.
Oh, you still have those, eh?
Yeah, dude, they're in the other room.
Wow.
For sure.
The Kevstermania wants to know. This one's directly related or towards you, Matt. He said, for Ed, can you sing Your Love by The Outfield? I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know if that's like deep cut something or.
You'd be like The Outfield, like that band, like the Your Love. Jesse's on a vacation far away. Is that what it is?
I'm not sure, man. I don't know if that was.
That was the I don't wanna lose your love.
Yeah.
That was funny when somebody sent me that. That was hilarious.
He's like, Eddie's on a vacation far away. He's going to look for his best friend as he's got his big dick in his hand, and he doesn't know where his bus pass is. He doesn't want to get lost tonight. Is that okay?
Oh, that would be really weird, eh? You go to give him your bus pass, you're like, geez, it's my dick. Where's my bus pass?
Oh my God. I don't want to lose my date tonight. I don't know. It's
Good job, Matt.
like
The guy's like, that's not at all what I
yeah,
asked.
he's like,
Oh,
that's
You know,
it's
so
better.
horrible.
sometimes you don't get what you want.
No, everything that any fan would want is in this video right here.
Alright.
So
And what is it though?
my face hurts so much from laughing right now.
I'm
It's
gonna watch it
such
then.
a great way to make your
It's
face
called-
hurt. I think you answered that one. Zachary Diamond wants to know, did they ever get complaints from angry parents? If so, how'd you deal with it? Now, I told on an earlier podcast with Mike Kubat, I asked him about angry parent mail or hate mail, and they would get it in and they would put it on the board in AKA, right? They would pin up, specific letters from parents and shit. But Mike had to take it one step further. He was like, yeah, I was actually taking my daughter to a soccer game one time, and then we were with her other soccer friends, and their parents were in the back, right? And they were talking about Ed, and Eddy and how it was such a horrible show, how it was the worst show on TV. It was horrible for kids to watch, while they had one of the main writers driving their kids and them to practice, unbeknownst to them that he was the actual writer. Yeah,
They hadn't watched South Park then, I guess.
I don't think so.
So that's-
but,
Family Guy.
yeah.
I don't remember angry parents. I remember grateful parents who brought their kids from Make-A-Wish Foundation to the studio to meet all the artists and the actors, and just so grateful that, well, we were amazed that, that was amazing that there was a couple times it happened where this was what this kid's wish was. I want to go meet the people who make my favorite cartoon. And to fly him to Vancouver and meet all the artists and the actors. And that was like, those are parents, I guess, that got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But,
I've only ever had positive, like literally, like I said, teachers and parents and kids, like, that the show really helped them get through like the toughest childhood, or, in that moment, like the whole town's up for sale when the economic crash happened. And, like that, they said like, for real, Ed, and Eddy was literally like the one source of light in their life in that moment. Right. So that's, it's that's when you get those real moments like that in real time. Even like Sammy said, us getting to go and visit, Make-A-Wish Foundation kids that get flown in here, it's like that changes your life, because you go like, holy shit, we're getting to do this as our job, but we're then getting to have this experience and this feedback from someone else that's saying that's all they wanted to do before they passed away.
Yeah.
It's like changes everything,
Yeah, I've never had any negative anything.
No.
Man.
So,
Yeah, it's always funny because I guess the writers get it more because just artists, they'll get fan mail because they'll send it to the studios or some shit like
Do you think it's all right for children to be scamming people money for jawbreakers? It's not okay. It's like stealing.
cancel Ed and Eddy.
My God.
I mean, I don't get people these days. There's a bunch of pussies running around, boys. Is all I gotta say. But since you brought up Jawbreakers, Wascally Wabbit wants to know: have you guys finally gotten Jawbreakers?
oh yeah. I've got a gigantic Jawbreaker. I have a little suitcase of all different memorabilia. I got a friggin', it was from a fan.
Yeah.
Like a Jawbreaker this
Got a
big.
big one. Yeah. I still got mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was from a
Put a
fan.
little lip every
I don't
once
know.
in
I got it. I got my Jawbreaker. I'm only breaking it out in case of emergencies.
Big
No.
laughing case though.
Yeah.
One side of mine's getting a little bit dented because I just lick on it.
Yeah, it is.
It's like,
This one might be one you guys don't remember, but which bumper or Cartoon Network commercial was either of yours favorite to voice? What I'm assuming is at the end of the cartoon, they would break through the Cartoon Network sign, and it would be, it'd have the Ed boys, it would have Dexter. Do you guys remember any of that?
Well, I remember doing
Cartoon Fridays on Cartoon Fridays. This week on Cartoon Fridays.
we did,
Yeah, totally.
Tony's eyes just lit up. He knows where you're going with this one.
yeah. So they would bring us in for these tags, and sometimes they did some.
We did the MLB one too.
Yeah, there was a few, and it's because I didn't have Cartoon Network back in the day. I never saw any of them, and now you can, with the internet, you can pretty much see everything. Sometimes people send me, do you remember this? And I go, no, because I never saw it, but this is cool,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but specific ones, I don't, I'm
Mhm.
trying to remember what was, I remember there would be some times where we're meeting other characters from the other shows that were on at that time, so we would be interacting with Dexter's Lab or Johnny Bravo or things like that. And I believe there was a couple times where they actually did animate, like a kind of Ralph Bakshi kind of thing where they have the animation and live action mixed together and stuff, if I remember correctly. But
I have to go back and look because there's a montage video up there of every end episode cutscene where, like I said, somebody would break through the Cartoon Network wall, and they got it on YouTube somewhere. So I'll check that one out too, and I'll write a report on that one as well. Are there any deleted? Jesus Christ, I stumbled on that one. Deleted cut scenes that they wish they could have made it to the final show. I don't think you guys would have really anything to see as far as that goes.
I don't think anything got cut either.
Yeah.
yeah. Usually by the time that we're getting the script and the storyboard, man, that thing had been
Already animated, right?
Been
Well,
honed over with a fine-tune whip.
It wasn't animated, no.
So
you guys weren't matching. I can't remember what it's called.
No, they animated it to our voices.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and also too, like to this day, that's the only show I've ever worked on. I think you guys would say the same thing, that we never had pickups to do, which is unheard of, right?
Very rarely.
Most
No,
cartoons,
that's what I mean. When you got it and you got the nod,
yeah,
winner.
it was boom, it was on, so that says a lot, right?
The only time we ever got pickups is when Cartoon Network didn't approve of something.
Exactly. That's the difference, right? But most of the time, cartoons.
And
they're
then
like,
Danny was
"Ah,
really
fix
upset.
that."
These fuckers, they don't get it.
Yeah.
But,
And then
I think one was practicing standards or something, wasn't it?
yeah.
It was
what are
like,
pickups?
Pickups are lines that they need to redo.
Okay.
because maybe it didn't work, or maybe the show ran long, or they'll have to redo stuff or whatever. We never had to do that. Like that's brilliant.
Because it was so finely organized from the storyboarding and what they wanted with the script, that it was just rare. Like I said,
How many times you'd get a shorter?
Exactly. Yeah.
They knew how long it had to be.
Yeah. It'd be like, hey, can we ad lib something? No. It's like, but once again, right? That's the truth of the vision that Danny had, that, thank God, because holy shit, man. That's why it was what it was. We just got to play in that field at that same level, right? So
I agree totally, man.
Raccoon's Junkyard wants to know. He says, this is my question. Sorry for my bad English. How did you feel to have been part of a show that lasted 10 years on the air, giving voice to their respective and iconic characters? I mean, he's got some pretty good words in there for his English not being that great. I mean, I think it's pretty good. And how did it mark you? I think you kind of answered that. But I guess at the end of the day, man, do you guys get noticed for those three roles more than anything else out there?
I would say it's in the top, top 2 or 3. I think personally that if you look at the spans of a career, I think if you're lucky to have 1 or 2 shows tops that you can go, yeah, that thing has longevity, that has I don't want to use the word legacy lightly. But I think it applies to this show.
Yeah,
you can say legacy. I mean, and that's just based on you guys.
Yeah,
I got nothing to do with it.
Oh, you three.
No, I mean in the sense that I was just a freaking a 20-something kid going to do my job, and kind of and it ended up over 20 years later going, wow, we were a part of something that was a high quality friggin' animated show.
Yeah,
it seems to
loved by millions.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, just happy, and it may never happen again. For me personally, so I just enjoy what I got with you guys.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I've kept you guys way too long, and I don't mean that to be bad. I think, like I said, Tony, I know you need to sleep because you work on some shit in 2 hours. But before I wrap it up, man, is there anything before I kind of close it out, is there anything you guys would like to say to the fans, or you guys would like to say to each other? I don't know when the last time you all got to talk, not like this for something that I'm going to put out there, but I don't know the last time that you guys got to talk. And if I've learned anything, and another defining factor of this podcast, that all got the idea out of when Kobe Bryant died last year, right? There was a song that was released by an artist called Joyner Lucas, right? He had this song called Will, and his greatest inspiration was Will Smith growing up. I don't know if you guys have saw or heard this song. It's a beautiful song. He goes through his entire essentially playlist when he does the video, and it's every role Will Smith's ever played, and every verse is related to a movie he's done, and he's trying to show the fans like who he looked up to, right? And then he has a line at the end of that thing that says, "We never know when it's our time to go, so give them a rose while they're still here," right? So that stuck with me, right? And that's why I wanted to start this, because I noticed that life was so fucking short, right? So I needed to get out and say everything I could, say thank you more and more and more to as many people as I possibly could. And you guys, you three here, being some of the top echelon people that I needed to say thank you to, right? But before I say thank you, was there anything that you guys would like to say to each other while you're still here and on this call?
Everybody's like, well, you go first. No, you go first. Then.
Go first. I like going first.
Yeah.
I'm only here because Matt and Sam are here.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. This whole thing for me is old. It's 20 years ago, right? But you two, you guys are awesome. I love you guys, and that's why I'm here, just because I wanted to surprise you. And we've never done this, so I figured might as well do it at least once.
Yeah, man. Honestly, this is I mean, obviously I run into Matt more than I see Tony. But yeah, this is amazing to see Tony again. I knew Tony would be chilling, living his life, because one thing I always loved about Tony, and I still do, is that you always lived life on your terms, and you just did what you wanted to do, man. And I always respect you for that. So
Thanks.
Yeah. Don't get me all emotional now, because you guys are like brothers from back in the day. So
That's what I mean. Yeah, I love you guys.
awesome.
Can I share something with you guys that literally, that's why I thought it was so perfect when we were told it was going to be the last season. And I have a moment that it still blows my mind, because I thought in some respects I knew it was the end of, this experience that we got to have together. And I was about to set out on, going on our journey, around the continent. And I'll never forget that last session, because I knew that it was going to be my last session with you guys, because we were heading out to go do something different. And I made sure that, like, when we were leaving the studio that day at Coco, I forced myself to look at you guys and say, I love you guys. Because I didn't know if we were going to, get to do stuff together ever again or whatever. Right. But you guys, for real, thank you for being in my life all these years. Cause I've always think about you guys and just send so much love and brotherhood all the time. So every time I get to do an ad, I'm just like, oh, I love you guys so much. So, so thanks for being in my lives, brothers.
It's forever.
Go.
Sure.
Love you too, Maddie.
Yeah.
Hey, Maddie.
Well, I want to thank you guys for doing this. Matt, you set it up with Sam, and then the listener came over and messaged Tony, and then Tony got with me after I deleted some messages. We're all here now, and I want to say thank you again for this show, but thank you for spending some time with me. Like you've said, you guys have never done this before, so this is something that's special. Not the fact that there's going to be so many people that get to see this, get to see you guys and learn a little bit more about you, but to see what it was really like to work with you guys, man. I mean, you guys saw, I don't know when the last time you guys all physically talked, but it's like you guys have not missed a step. One goes and the next one goes and the next one goes. It's refreshing to have people on here. Then you see that the same joy I have when I see you guys is the same joy you guys all showed each other when each one of you guys got on. That's, when the fuck do you ever hear that in the industry you guys work at, where almost everybody, for anything I know, everybody on that show liked each other. everybody on that show enjoyed going to work, no matter how hard it was. Now, how many times you had to say the lines that you had to say, and I won't, PTSD reasons, I won't bring it up. But all those lines, all those hard days, all those long hours, all those kids that you guys touched, both, you know.
Whoa.
Oh, shit. Well, you started saying whoa, and then I just stopped my point. And I was like, all those kids you touched here. Here. You guys came into everybody's house via a TV, not the window. You guys came into everybody's TV, and you guys inspired an entire generation. And we're the first set of fans that kind of get to sit down and do this shit because of the advent of social media. You know, so, you know, essentially what I'm getting at, man, is thank you guys for sitting down with me. If this does anything, I hope you three talk fucking every day from now on, right? That's what I hope to see, man. Tony, Matt, Sam, thank you guys for everything you guys have fucking done. And I'm just gonna end it with this, man. He's been Tony, that's been Matt, that's been Sam, that's been Ed, and Eddie. It's been the What's in My Head podcast, and this has been a fucking blast. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. I love you guys.
Bye, buddies. Bye. Love you guys.